Good evening, everyone. Sorry to scare you like that, but the Occult Security and Investigation Commission, or as you all know them, the OSIC, has mandated that all news stations must inform the public on the dangers and new method of detection of cursed objects. I implore you, simply give us a little of your time, as it could save your life. Cursed objects became widely known to the public 2 years ago with the OSIC's first PCA. Cursed objects are extremely dangerous due to being an invisible and elusive threat to the American way. The biggest upside for a user of a cursed object is the blessings they give to the user before they take their price, and after enough use, they will always take their price. This is why some degenerates purposely seek them out. Fortunately for the American public, these degenerates took it upon themselves to experiment with known cursed objects and have discovered a way to differentiate them from normal objects. Allow me to demonstrate. So, which one is cursed? Hard to tell, right? Honestly, it's still difficult for me to tell the difference. I've not been told which one is cursed and which is not. I will just be relying on my ability to spot the differences. The discovered method of detection for cursed objects is that they always have some sort of marking on them. That makes it seem like it would be easy. The issue is that these markings are extremely small. The most common marking a cursed object will have is a triangle, but it will always be a shape of some sort. The cursed lunchbox does have a triangle, so dear viewer, where is the triangle? Well, the hard part is that even at their largest, these markings measure only a little under half an inch, or exactly 1 centimeter. Anyway, the cursed lunchbox is the one on the right. So, the question you're probably wondering is, what does this lunchbox do? So it seems this lunchbox has infinite storage, but like all cursed objects, after using it for long enough, its price will follow. That price being
I thought we agreed not to use an object that had a fatal price for this. What if I got it wrong?
It doesn't kill, it's just a fate worse than death.
If I didn't want death, why would I want a fate worse than death?
Oh, stop crying, you weren't actually using it. So who cares? Get that to work, or the OSIC is going to have it dealt with.
So the price for this lunchbox is that it stores your soul in it after enough use, effectively leaving your body an empty husk, and your consciousness lives on in the lunchbox in a black void forever. Well, anyway, you have now seen how to differentiate a cursed object from a normal one. But what if you are unable to do that and get a cursed object without knowing? Well then, you have a very limited amount of time to simply get rid of the object. There are about 1 to 4 uses of a cursed object before it becomes unremovable from your body. Once that happens, you must seek out a cursed physician as fast as possible, or its price will come for you. If there is one thing you take from this broadcast, it should be to get rid of a cursed object before it's too late. The biggest danger to the public is when stores sell them to unwitting customers, either knowingly or unknowingly. Most stores don't disclose that they sell these objects, but we found that at least one takes the basic courtesy of providing this disclosure. We sent reporter Phoebe to the scene to talk with the owner about his experience with cursed objects.
Yes, I'm here at Joe's Knickknacks, a pawn store that has been open for many years. As you can imagine, many cursed objects come through here. The owner, Joe, has set up a table in the shop called the Free Curse Table. A play on words from curse free, a saying that many stores advertise but rarely ever live up to. Joe, why did you set up this table?
Yeah, well, you know, it's kind of my business to be buying and selling, but every now and then you get some creep in here who's bringing you stuff that's actually cursed, right? And I don't know, I try to be good, but every now and then something gets foisted on me, and I don't realize until shit starts getting freaky in the shop that I've been duped. So I say, okay, Joe, businessman, I'm not like my father, but I'm better. What I did is I got a table for it now. The table, I advertised that the stuff is not right. Now, that's okay, because some of the other Maloiks around here just sell it as is. I don't. I say, that shit's freaky. But now I got people coming in who kind of like it. They're shopping just for that. They're weirdos all over the place.
So what would you say the ratio is of the cursed objects versus the one that seek their way in here?
I don't know. You know, it's probably 60-40, which sounds low, but you gotta keep in mind, it's like, you don't really understand that it's cursed until you see the effect, right? And some of this shit, okay, you don't know until you've used it. And if it's something that you gotta use more than once, you don't know until you use it more than once, and sometimes it sticks to you after one use, or it doesn't stick to you at all. So it's kind of like a weird thing. And I'm doing this whole new scratch method, kind of like you're testing gold, but you know, sometimes you scratch it and then it's scratched, but none of this stuff here is near mint, right? So nobody, look at this. This we scratched. This isn't even cursed, right? You know, so, but none of this stuff is near mint. But to the paying customer, they're not even paying attention.
So how do your customers react to the Free Curse Table? Does it help business or does it harm it?
I think for most customers, they're happy, right? Because they feel reassured that what they're just browsing for in general isn't cursed. I mean, we all saw what happened to that Times Square butcher, right? A couple years ago. He imploded and exploded all at the same time, you know? So, but the other people who aren't regular customers, the freaks, they're playing like Russian roulette with this stuff. They're coming in just to go to the curse table. I've kind of got a whole niche just on selling weird stuff now. It's sort of a beautiful thing.
How would you feel if someone died due to the cursed objects in your store?
Okay, I didn't realize I was on trial. You know, I don't know. I think I'm not really too worried, right? Because think about it, 99% of the other stores are just mixing stuff in. They're not even paying attention. I'm sort of doing my due diligence, right? It's like, you know, like what is this, Upton Sinclair, The Jungle? Okay, so I guess to answer your question, I'm at peace with the situation.
Do you think the OSIC should make cursed objects illegal to protect the common person?
Listen, chick, I don't know. Okay, it's easier said than done, right? You know, most of these people don't really know what they got until they subconsciously have the reaction to it. They're like, ooh, ooh, you know, something's wrong with that. But sometimes it's too late. And I think the whole deal with OSIC is like maybe they could do a buyback system, but quite frankly, they're probably already doing something shady to begin. They're kind of shit. What I do know, but it's not like I'm like stepping out of bounds.
All right, Joe. Thank you for your time.
Okay, hey, happy shopping.
Hello, sir. I heard you're a frequent user of the Free Curse Table.
Yeah, and what of it? I ain't doing nothing illegal.
Well, I'm just here to ask you a few questions for the sake of the general public with these cursed objects.
Oh, you're with the media. Sure, I'll happily answer your dumb questions.
That seemed rather aggressive. Would there be a reason for that?
Yeah, I fucking hate the media. You portray people like me as threats while spreading propaganda about cursed objects.
Propaganda? Is it not true that cursed objects are extremely dangerous?
They are. I'm not denying that. It's the level of danger that you just exaggerate about constantly. There are objects that will straight up kill you or get as close as possible without actually doing it. But those numbers are so minuscule, it's laughable.
What about the people who have died from the cursed objects? Are you calling them stupid?
Yeah, they're morons, but most likely power hungry too. It's harder to notice the power of the curse if the blessing is something you really want. The brain doesn't recognize the danger.
All right, let's move on. Seems as though we're not getting anywhere. Since you're such an expert, why don't you tell us about the effects of these cursed objects?
Sure, why not? Take this fedora hat, for example. Okay, do you see this mark on the strap? It's pretty easy to miss. I can see how it got past Joe. This fedora makes you one of the best detectives ever.
All right, don't do that. I'm not willing to film a suicide today.
Oh, shut up. This fedora gives you crippling alcoholism. And have you seen the cops around here, those old drunken bastards? Just watch this.
As I cannot currently broadcast what's happening in front of me right now, I will try to explain it for the public. After putting on 5 rings, the customer is currently beginning to levitate around 3 feet off the ground, and now he's facing through the table, and there's an electrical current running through his fingertips. Good Lord, stop it, man! Ugh.
All that, and I didn't explode.
But if you had went any longer, you would have exploded. Isn't that true?
Yeah, eventually, but with that many rings on, it wouldn't shock me. I'm not saying they're not dangerous, but there are more dangerous hobbies out there, like, I don't know, skydiving.
Well, just try telling people how to avoid your hobby.
Just go with the feeling, mainly trust your gut, and put the fucking thing down if it gives you powers.
All right, degenerate, you can go back to playing Russian roulette now. Back to you, Anchorman.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. In the interest of full disclosure, those interviews were pre-recorded. We let you hear the ramblings of that madman in full on the off chance you could pull something useful out of it to avoid cursed objects. I'm only saying this because the OSIC have informed me that the explosion in Midtown this morning was that man succumbing. While attempting to feel sympathy, they also found he had strong Soviet ties and was a threat to the American public. Typical of a degenerate like him.